All right, welcome back. This is Socially Distanced Educators Getting Coffee. All right, guys, I am back with some of our friends. Last time I had a very special guest, my daughter, Charlotte Green, for episode 3. This time we're all back together, minus one of our friends, for episode 4. So everyone, please introduce yourself one more time.
I'm Sarah Todrick. I teach 6th grade world history at Palm Valley Academy.
Hi, I'm Holly Chaker. I teach 7th grade language arts at Palm Valley Academy.
All right, and also we have a very special guest joining us today, a very special friend of ours, Miss Julie Haden. She is an awesome educator from St. Johns County, and she is joining us right about now.
Perfect. I planned that just right.
Julie, tell us, what part of the district are you quarantined to? Where are you at?
I am in the Aberdeen Rivertown area, right off of Longley Pine near Freedom Academy. Woo woo.
What do you do?
What do I do? Sorry.
Sorry.
I am a first grade teacher. That's okay. First grade teacher. First grade rocks, guys. How long have I been an educator? I've been an educator for 11 years. I'm a career changer. So I was in the PR world, lost my job in 2008 along with the rest of the world, and went into education. And I have been in primary ever since, 2nd grade, kindergarten, and then 1st grade.
Do you have your coffee?
I do. Well, this is my coffee.
That's good enough. Our first topic today, we reached out to our followers on social media. Has anyone gained any experience or learned anything new, done anything new, learning how to implement e-learning, any new skills?
I have helped teach all of my friends, local and afar, about Seesaw, the digital portfolio. So that's been really nice. I've been preaching about Seesaw for the past 5 years and how much I love it. And now I have several friends who have now jumped on the Seesaw wagon with me. And I'm super duper excited because my kids love it, my parents love it, and now I've passed that knowledge along to other educators.
That's a great tool.
Yeah, it's a great tool.
I was teaching in elementary as well.
Has anyone else had any experience with Seesaw?
I actually used it when I taught elementary as well. It's a great platform.
See, that's what I was worried about with my daughter switching to e-learning this week. Would she be able to understand Schoology or be able to keep up? So that's a little concern of mine right now. So we're going to explore it today. Today is Sunday, so we're going to explore it today before she has to get on it tomorrow. But one thing I'm excited about is that her teacher, she has like a half-hour block where the whole class meets on Skype type of thing, like on Schoology. They have a whole class conference where they get to have some FaceTime with the teacher. And what I'm really hoping is that they open it up to the other kids around and not just with the teacher. No offense to the teacher, of course, but I know that she's craving that peer interaction, like be able to see her friends. I think would be awesome.
Hopefully that works out great.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Julie, have you done anything with Logan to kind of help her with her peer interaction or socializing with other people since we're kind of like quarantined and isolated to our own home?
Yeah, we've had a lot of FaceTime play dates. We had to get over the hump of why are you mad at my friends and I can't have play dates and explaining why we couldn't. But now we have FaceTime play dates. They have little tea parties. They build forts next to each other. They're coloring, and it's really just breaks my heart that this is what we have to do. But she's enjoying the play dates as much as she can through FaceTime.
He really, we've been working on especially building family relationships and reaching out to his cousin and using things like Facebook Messenger or like Facebook video to do that. And he got, even for a kid who, like, I have to force him into play dates sometimes, when his teacher had a kind of just a voluntary, hey guys, let's get together and chat, over Zoom. He was, oh, that's this kid. I like that kid. And oh, that was really cool to be able to see everyone.
Mine's 14. He's in high school. One of the things I mentioned, I think in one of the previous episodes, that his big request was that I allow him to purchase a Monopoly game on Steam so that he could play Monopoly with his friends. And that worked out really great. And then the other night, I called him down for dinner and he said, I can't. I'm in the middle of trivia. And so he texted me a screenshot from upstairs. He texted me a screenshot of his computer. And there were at least 8 kids that were all playing trivia against each other. And one of them like had the official microphone and he was hosting trivia night for the kids. It was amazing. They had literally they had a whiteboard with all the kids' names on it and like hash marks for who got something right. It was so cool.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers. Let's get to our social media. What did your followers say that they did this extended break that was like an accomplishment?
I had one of our followers who is a fellow teacher at our school say he had started doing the adult coloring books. I felt like he was a little ashamed of it because he's like, don't judge me, but I totally get it. It's like very like Zen, and it's, you know, it's not like an Elmo coloring book.
I reached out to my kids. My kids have been playing football with their family. I have one student that has a rather large family, so they've been playing tag and things like that because they have enough kids inside their family. I also caught a student driving the golf cart because he's 14 now, so with his family.
That's good.
They've been doing things like that.
Julie, what about you? Any new skill set, anything that you've been developing or accomplishing now that we've been kind of stuck?
Really, we've been doing a lot of family time. Bike rides. Our neighborhood is doing a bear hunt in the windows. Yesterday, they put hearts in the windows. So really just focusing on family time. I feel like we get so much into routine and like just go, 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 go. This is time to like stop and really smell the roses. So that's really what we've been doing, is slowing things down.
You mentioned bear hunting or hearts in the windows. What are you talking about?
So in our neighborhood, we told everyone to put a bear in their window, whether 1 or 2 bears, and going on the bear hunt, that good old story, going on the bear hunt. So people are walking or riding their bikes out the neighborhood, and you're looking for bears in everyone's windows, and it's been really cute. There's been one big bear that's probably like the size of you, like in the windows, and then there's little tiny bears, and they're all over the windows. And then yesterday was heart, so you just put any kind of heart in your windows for us to look at. And then Tuesday we're going to put shamrocks in the windows to go on a shamrock hunt. And then on Thursday you put anything orange in the window and you go look for orange things in windows. So it's been kind of neat.
That's a really cool idea.
Yeah, it's cute.
So how are you looking towards the next challenge, like this next new digital e-learning era that we're about to go into for maybe a couple of weeks, maybe the rest of the year, we'll find out, but how's it looking for you?
You know, I'm kind of excited for the fact that I taught at Palencia for 6 years, and we are a one-to-one school. So I have digital technology classroom in my veins. So when I went to Freedom Cross Academy, we have iPads in our classroom. So we've been using Seesaw. So I feel like my kids, this is going to be an easier transition for most because we already do a lot of things of that sort. I do plan on doing a lot of read alouds on Zoom, reading a chapter a day. And I'm just excited to connect to the kids. And I did have an assistant principal that would say, the only thing constant is change. So I have that kind of growth mindset that like, this is the time that we're in and we have to adapt to it, whether it's 2 weeks, the rest of the year. This is something that we're all going to remember. I always think that like people aren't going to remember the first grade teacher when they're older, but I feel like they're going to remember me and this experience because hopefully this is the only time that this is going to happen.
You started to get into something that resonated with me where, you know, this is probably going to be something that sticks with them for a long time. this experience, remembering their teacher, remembering this moment, and it reminded me of this thing I saw on Facebook. I'm not sure if you guys saw it also, where it was comparing two perspectives, like in 20 years or 10 years or something, perspective of someone studying this event in history and like looking back at the economic crisis and how many people were lost and the tragedy, the crisis. But then this perspective of a senior in high school or something and looking back at their childhood during this time. Do you remember this event? I remember that I had a lot of fun, and I remember a lot of time as a family, or that we did a lot of cooking. I learned how to bake. I learned how to do this. It's that perspective. Yes, this is a tragedy. However, it's also about your perspective. Are you going to mope around about it, or are you going to take advantage of it and learn a new skill, spend some time with family? It's really that perception, like how you're going to remember it is really what's most important.
Yeah. And I asked my kids to be pen pals with me. And yesterday, I'm so excited. I got myself not even a letter, but I got a book all about colors from one of my students. Came in a big old envelope. So we're embracing this right now, and that's really what it is. And you're absolutely right about the mindset. I posted something like, I can't go out with my friends, but you can play with your friends inside on FaceTime. Oh, how you look at it.
Yeah.
Go from being, giving your kids a hug every day, or doing high fives and checking in with them, to virtually. And it's a little lonely, but it's also it's an interesting challenge to, okay, so how can we maintain those connections that we know are so important to our kids in a different way now, but letting them know, hey, we're still here, we still love you, we're still here to connect with you and guide you.
Yeah, I pushed the Google form out as well with my kids to see how they're doing and see if anybody needed me to touch base with them before Monday. I didn't want to wait until Monday to reach out if they needed to talk to somebody. And I had a couple of kids say yes. And I had probably another maybe probably closer to a dozen kids that said maybe. And I reached out to all of them through our Schoology app because we can message them directly. So I reached out to all of them, and we had, conversations. Most of them were bored or stressed about what this is going to look like come Monday, and they just kind of wanted to mentally prepare themselves for Monday.
Our other topic that we discussed yesterday was remembering your why. So I think it's very important, especially before we go into this stressful new era of e-learning, where it's kind of, flipping us upside down. I think it's important that we kind of talk about something that brought us to this point in our career, kept us here. So what is each of our stories like? Why are we here? Why are we still here? Because, the burnout rate is like 5 years of a teacher. I'm pretty sure most of us, or all of us, are past 5 years. Like, we're way past that. What has kept us in the profession? What has made you rejuvenated, refreshed enough to keep going?
I've always wanted to be a teacher, and then somehow I had a high school counselor that kind of pushed me towards a path of communications major for PR. And so being a young impressionable child, I was like, okay, I'm going to trust you. And I went that route. And I wish I never went that route. Although I think everything happens for a reason. So it did teach me a lot of life skills, as well as bringing in corporate world into the classroom. But I love being a teacher. I love seeing the light bulb. I'm a primary teacher. So when you see that light bulb go ding, for some reason, that just keeps me going. And now that I have a child, I want to be that teacher that I would want my child to be in. If I'm going to do something, would I be okay if Logan's teacher did that? So anything I do, and for her as well. So all my kids are my babies. We all know that. We don't call them students, we call them kids. I don't know any teacher who says my students this. They say my kids. So I don't know. It's just they're just so cute, and they just want to learn, and they want to be loved. They want to know that you care about them, and just to give them that, that type of education for it. I just love it. I don't know. I can't think right now because I miss them so much. It's a roundabout way of saying my wife, but there you go.
I love it.
It's funny, Julie, listening to you talk because I say never, but the little ones very much not who I am suited to teach well. I think there's
I'm not suited for middle school at all.
And see, I never thought I was. I've wanted to be a teacher since I was like 4 years old, but I never thought I would teach middle school. Oh no. And middle schoolers get that reputation, and then you get in the classroom, and for me at least, the fact that they are such hot, absolute messes is part of what makes them so wonderful. Like, they're just vulnerable and sweet and silly and sassy, and they're in this really tough, tricky time between being a little kid and they're not grown yet, and they still want and need that love just as much as the little ones. But they're I think ready to receive it in maybe a different way than they were when they're in first grade. But it's funny. It's the for me at least, it's always been about those kids that would slip through the cracks otherwise. The ones who are maybe quieter, or the ones who are just like, they're a little weird and they're just kind of don't fit in the box with everyone else, or they struggle intellectually, or whatever the case may be. Kind of my little oddballs. Those are my kids that I always end up adopting a little bit, and just letting them know, hey, this is a crappy time for everyone, but I love you. You have a safe place here, and I will always have your back. Into teaching with that very content focused view, and stepping back and realizing how much of it I do for the kids as individuals has been a really interesting evolution. And it's just I miss my babies.
Yeah, I think we all have the same why. The kids, making sure that they have the best experience that they can while they're little, while they're learning, helping them learn, teaching them how to be bigger kids. No matter what grade you're teaching, you're always supporting what they've already learned and trying to teach them what the next step is. Okay, this is now our expectation, making eye contact. I mean, with littles, a lot of times the shy ones, it's like, no, you're in 3rd or 4th grade now. You need to make eye contact with people when you're talking to them. You need to pause and listen, and just teaching them how to be human beings. I think that's really the nitty gritty of our why, the connections, the social aspect, and just loving our kids.
So that actually got me thinking when you guys are talking about, it's the kids. We didn't really get into this job for let me rephrase that. Some people came into the job for the content. Like you, Sarah, I love history. I want to teach history, but no one really stays in it for the content.
Yeah.
Like, I think if you're in it, if you're coming in because you love chemistry, you love science or whatever, and you really just want to teach the content, those have the higher risk of burning out and leaving education. But if your goal and your focus is relationships, the kids, building them up, helping them grow, seeing them develop, seeing them grow into the young adults, and then adults, and then off into their lives, I think those are the educators that kind of they stick around. They're a little bit more resilient, and they make it past that 5 year. Just typically don't make it past. And I was actually thinking, a lot of what we do, we have to prove that we are doing our job. We have to prove that we are worthwhile as educators through state testing, through standardized testing, through whatever the criteria that the state or our local agency sets for us. But no educator leaves high school going into college, or leaves college going into education for proving the FSA, or doing really well in the FSA. I really want to help kids do well in the FSA. I really want to help kids do well on that test. No one goes into it really with that mindset, So I think that it's really just about the kids. Like you said, everyone has the same answer. It's about the kids. I think if you're going to be a quality educator, if you're going to be someone that's going to stick around, be resilient, then it has to be kid-centered. It has to be growth-centered, like helping the kids grow into the young adults that they're going to be, that they could be one day. My why, it's kind of like a roundabout why. So my first year in teaching was awful, terrible. I had no idea what I was doing. I was teaching content area that I was okay in. I passed the tests and I was able to get a job in it. Teaching grade that I had no intention of ever teaching. I envisioned myself as like a high school teacher and whatever. I was teaching 8th grade. I had no idea what I was doing, and it was just a horrible year. So I made it through the first year, but I ran into one of my former 8th graders out in public, and I'll never forget his name. I won't say it here, but I'll never forget his name. He came up to me and we were talking for a minute to catch up. And he said, you know, yours was the worst class I've ever had. And so honest. He was so honest. He said, yours was the worst class I've ever had. I gained nothing leaving your room. As a teacher, as a second-year teacher, I was 22 or something at the time. That's like a dagger straight to your heart, and like he just like ripping it through, and it was the worst feeling. And I remember walking away, kind of like angry and ticked off at him. I was like, "Who is this guy telling me that I'm like the worst teacher he's ever had?" And like he has no idea. I mean, I was pretty good. I was decent. His moment of honesty. But I remember looking back to that moment and thinking, you know, he was right. And he was just being honest, and he was just being critical because I needed to hear it. I needed to know that I was terrible. And I did not push the kids enough. I did not know where to push them. I didn't know how to challenge them. As he was telling me like how his progress was that year and how he's struggling in high school because he didn't get anything from me in 8th grade. Well, he was right. You know, I think that was my why early on, to just keep going and like learn from it. And then I started teaching 6th grade. I started teaching world history after that. And I was much more in tune to like helping these kids grow, not just academically, socially, helping them identify who they're going to be and developing skills to get them where they need to be. And I think if I didn't have that critical conversation with him in like out in public where he was just berating his experience in my room, then I don't know if I would have really understood how terrible I was. Now working at the same school as my daughter goes to, and now my attention is this good enough for my daughter? Am I a good enough dean for my daughter? You know, am I giving the same experience that I would want my daughter to have to like the other 300 kids in our middle school have? And I think that becomes my why now too. Anything else you guys want to share?
I just want to share that we're going to get through this. We're going to come out of this stronger together. I'm so proud to be surrounded by so many like-minded educators who've been working so hard all year, but especially last week to take on this new task. Makes me proud to be an educator. I've always been proud, but this makes me really proud, and I hope it brings the respect that we rightfully deserve. So I'm excited. We got this. We can do this, and it's going to be amazing next week.
I agree.
I also wanted to add, for any teachers in St. Johns County, Inc. is still your community helper. So if you know any teachers who need any assistance in any way, Inc., Investing in Kids, they're armed, ready to come out and help. They just delivered a bunch of supplies to our Title I schools last week and gave journals to another teacher in need. So they want the help. So if you know any teachers that need anything, reach out to them because they got your back 110%. So it's my little Inc. plug for you guys.
Definitely reach out to Investing in Kids.
I'll be able to include the link in the video.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Thanks for having me, guys. I had a lot of fun. So thank you for including me today. I appreciate it. We got this.
Well, thank you so much, Julie, for joining us today. We just want to say thank you to our audience. Thank you so much. We'll be back for episode 5 shortly. Keep an eye out. And everyone have a great first week of e-learning, digital learning with our communities, and good luck to you. Again, as we said earlier, just have patience, understanding we're all in this together. We're all starting something brand new. Have some patience, have some grace, and good luck out there.
Bye, guys.
Cheers.